Good day, humans, and welcome to another exciting day of the doodles. Doodly doodly dee. So right now it's the morning for me, and I think I did this yesterday. Yeah, it's been a good exercise. I feel pretty good about it, and I'm gonna start doing my art in a minute YouTube soon, because I just realized yesterday when I was walking about the resort that my signs really need to be redone. I made Land of Id signs, I guess a few years ago when about 3 or 4 years ago when I first started taking over the resort and rebuilding it. And then now they're sort of like disintegrating. So it was a new way that I went about things. I covered everything with polyurethane. I didn't know how the polyurethane would weather, so they did okay for 4 years, but 4 years is not long enough for a sign. So I'm going to make the new ones out of glass, actually. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to do glass. I'm going to light them up from behind. And it's going to look pretty cool, I think. So I just got to find some glass, which should not be a problem. And come up with some new signs. I'm kind of bummed out about my frames, though. I had some really cool frames. So if you go to the YouTube for Land of Id and you see the signs, those signs will no longer exist probably within the next few months. But hey, they had a good run, and that's really cool. I want to thank everybody for subscribing, that had subscribed in the last couple of days. I really, really, really totally appreciate it. It makes me feel super swell and special that you care about my doodling and my rambling, doodly rambly, which is very good. This is good therapy for me, and it kind of makes me, do it, which is good. Because I've been kind of out of the loop, the artistic doodly loop in quite some time. And so this is good. It makes me, every morning I try to get up and do this and then start with my day. Today I'm going to be doing, my boyfriend's little brother, Manny, is coming over, and we're going to be working on a waterfall behind my house. So I'm really stoked about that because we've been rebuilding the fish pond, and we redid a bunch of the decking. And now we're going to redo the waterfall. So we had to build like a little wall that the water was like draining out, and we had to like fix that. And so now we're ready for the next step. So that's pretty exciting. I'll probably do a time lapse of that and put it on my art in a minute, and the Land of Id, the Instagram for my art and the resort, but also the YouTubes. Oh, which brings me to, I'm gonna, kind of like do a shout out to the people that have been leaving me comments and questions and things like that. So Jim1478 asked me, so he asked me, how do I come up with these ideas, these doodles and my doodles here? And basically, I have no idea. I don't know. This is not actually any plan by any means. Actually, a lot of my art is kind of done like that. It's just done randomly, just line on line. And then as I fill the space, I then will try to do some sort of balance, which is cool. Because I like balance, despite how my life may seem. No, I don't know. So that's kind of how I started. And then it just kind of goes from there. This entire book I'm going to do with this type of artwork. And I think I'm like 5 days in or something like that, since I had started doing this and started making this YouTube channel. And it's all been random. The first one was not so structured, and this is kind of what it looks like right now. But over time, I'm sure it'll change and develop, and, who knows what it's going to look like by the time I get to here. Wow, that's so much. But yeah, so I'm just sort of developing it as it goes along, and maybe some of these ideas I will utilize. So how do I come up with it? I don't know. I'm just making it up on the spot. And you know what? Even my drawings, like when I do something like a dragon or, a person, I kind of just make it up. Even my sculptures are that way. I make it up as I'm going. It's kind of the way that I've always been. It's not the way I am in life, though. I'm very structured in life. I actually have goal sheets and everything written out and plans for pretty much everything, to the point that it annoys my peers, but that's how I like it. And let's see, so Pam Giller 93, she said, how long have I been into paleontology? Paleontology, geez, okay, so I think archaeology was my very first interest because I was really into Indiana Jones. When I was a kid, I was really into Indiana Jones, and I really wanted to be that when I grew up. And that was probably when I was around 4. And then I got into paleontology shortly after that because for one reason or another, I discovered that life was not going to be that exciting if I was an archaeologist, where I had to like escape from giant rolling balls and things like Indiana Jones. So I got into paleontology because obviously that happens in paleontology. I don't know, I guess it was just the creatures. Of course, my first love was the dinosaurs, which now doesn't hold as much interest for me, but maybe that's because I had such an obsession when I was younger. But, and then, so I got heavily into it when I was a kid, and I remember I moved in with my father when I was 11, and he bought me all kinds of books on it. And I would sit and I knew like all the dinosaurs, and I would, recite them, and it was kind of like my little thing. And I did that for years. So that started, I guess, intensely around maybe 8. And by 11, I was pretty versed in it. I lost some interest in it around 21, and I got back into it because I opened an art gallery in Denver, and I kind of focused on that for a while, for about 10 years, and I did a band thing and all that stuff. And then I got back into it, I guess about 10 years later, as intensely as I am now. And recently, I would say probably the last few years, I've been like super obsessed with it to the point that I watch documentaries pretty much on a nightly basis. But the growth in paleontology has been so immense recently that, keeping up on it has been just truly exciting because it's not like, oh, it's the same old stuff. Oh, it's Sue again. You have to watch the same old documentaries over and over again and be all sad of how Sue was taken away, and she was the T-Rex, one of the most famous T-Rexes. But it's been so I guess I've been into it for most of my life. I'm gonna be 40 soon, in about 2 weeks, and it's just been so much. So now I'm mostly into Devonian and Cambrian, but also the mega mammals, because I live in Florida and that's what I got. So I basically have, obviously I've got, like, we were underwater, so, and we had mammals here. So that's what I have to like when I'm in Florida, which is cool. It got me into it actually, because I would go on digs here, dives really, because I go scuba diving, and I would find fossils, and those would be the things that I would find. So that's kind of what I got into as of recently, like the last 10 or 12 years. So it's been pretty cool. And I actually have quite the collection that I should show at some point. And right now it's just sort of like in piles, not even labeled, in my massage room, which is kind of funny. So the one of light, let's see, when did you become a nudist? When did I become a nudist? Well, my father is a nudist. So I suppose when I was 11, when I moved in with him, I did not become a nudist actually. But, maybe when I was 16-ish, when I became more comfortable with my body. I don't know if I'm a nudist, because I don't walk around naked all the time. I go in the pool and the hot tub naked. But that's really about it. I don't really walk around naked. Sometimes I do around my house. But I guess I'm more of a nudist than other people that don't do that. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But my father owned the nudist resort originally, and he always wanted to sell it. He never planned to have a child. He kind of just knocked my mother up along the way. And I was away from my father till I was 11. And when I moved in with him, he always had a plan to sell it, but before he was 70. And he tried a few times, but there was a crash, and people didn't have money, and people weren't as interested, and didn't have the money to, pay that he wanted for the space. So I went to massage school and I started saving up, and I'm over explaining these answers, but hey, I got like 30 minutes to fill before Manny gets here and we start on the waterfall today. So, yep. So then I started buying him out, and helping him with everything, and he's building the museum, which is pretty cool. So it's basically, I'm paying him to help me build the resort, which is cool. It's really, he's enjoying it. He's a builder, so he's 74 now. hear a car coming. That might be Manny. I might have to actually cut this short so I can go start working on the dome. But, yeah, and so he's been helping and doing the museum. And so the money that I'm giving him, he's actually building the museum with, which is cool. So, and the museum's like, it's how the Land of Id name actually came up, because I want to change the name of the resort. Right now it's called the Riverboat Nudist Resort, Riverboat, and I don't like that. I feel like it sounds like a retirement home, and I don't like the stigma of things that my father had utilized the club for in the past that I have to like change. I hear a car. Is that my mom? Someone's really loud. Someone's coming. Oh no, hide.